Genshin Impact is a free-to-play ARPG developed by MiHoYo and was released on 28 September 2020. I've played this game for around a month, and now this is my review and impression. Now I for one believe that this game can be judged through three different perspectives. First is the mobile platform perspective. The game certainly excels in lots of things when compared to other mobile games, with big world comparable enough to most open world PC games in terms of size and in terms of details. The graphic fidelity of this game is up there when we're talking about mobile platform, of course. It even crush most of the best smartphones that are on the market currently. There's also a great story that are pretty much up there in terms of live service standards, so if we're talking about free-to-play games, the story of this game are definitely interesting. There's also optimization, which are a necessity when we're talking about the mobile games, I think. And then the art style and the background music, it's very entertaining and I love it. The second perspective is taken from the PC side of things. As I said earlier, this game is great. That is by mobile game standard. PC or consoles, however, are different. They are more powerful and the port are rather subpar, especially in the technical aspect. I've seen a lot of low resolution texture and bad draw distance. It's like they rip off the mobile game and immediately put on the PC without any improvement whatsoever. There's also limited frame rate, so basically you are limited to either 30 and 60, despite the fact that most phones these days are already supporting high refresh rate, meaning that supporting one on the PC version shouldn't be that hard. There's also a lack of customization on the control settings, not being able to change keybind, not being able to change your control arrangement, etc. etc. I've also encountered one problem where, in my dual monitor setup, I couldn't lock my cursor on the certain monitor, so it would drift to the other one whenever I swipe. Now, while we're at it, I would also like to talk about the negative on the content side of things. For one, there is a lackluster endgame content, or lack of one even. After the current story ends and the world quests are all finished, basically you had nothing to do but grind and explore the world if you haven't. Now, exploring the world itself are interesting on the first run, that is. Once you've done the challenges and once you open all the chests that are available, most of them are a one-time thing. It's not repeatable. So that leaves you with grinding. And while the grinding itself are nice, I wouldn't say it's great since I don't like grinding in the first place. It is severely limited by the energy or resin system that are currently implemented. The capacity is very low and the recharge rate are abysmal. It took 16 hours to fully recharge your current capacity, and that only gives you around 6 dungeons at most. Like, what the heck? What are we supposed to do during all that 16 hours of wait time? Lastly, this game also had a Battlepass system that gives you resources instead of skin, mostly cash, experience, and ingredients, which means the Battlepass itself is gameplay affecting. Now, the fact that the premium one gave way more when compared to the free one is a given since this is a free-to-play game and the devs want to earn some money. But they favors too heavily to the premium one in my opinion, since on the premium one you get around 4 times more, and because of that premium battle pass, most player who bought it doesn't have to farm as much since they can just focus their grinding on the artifacts which are not given on the battle pass, instead of having to manage their resins between money, experience and more. Now, granted, most of you probably would say, well, the game aren't exactly PvP focused, so I don't see the problem, and I agree. But at the end of the day, this kind of practice aren't exactly free-to-play friendly when compared to other gacha games, and I just want to point that out. And to those who said that The developer still gives you lots of resources. That's true, but that means you are at the mercy of the devs if you are relying on those kind of things. Now, I'm not a fan of grinding, but I personally prefer the freedom of being able to farm at my own pace instead of relying on those free gifts that the developer had sent. Though, to be clear, it doesn't hurt to have those kind of thing every now and then. The third perspective is a hybrid one because at the end of the day, the game is a hybrid. It's a multi-platform game. It supports mobile, PC, and console, so it serves as a bridge between them. Now, while it has its own positivity, such as the flexibility of progressing through your stories and optimization, as all mobile games usually have, it also has its own downsides. The existence of its mobile game nature, like loot boxes or gacha, and energy system. Those things hurts its attractiveness on the other platforms because those platforms community, the PC and console community in mind, usually despise that kind of monetization. However, the fact that it is a bridge between those platforms means that MiHoYo might have just pioneered the implementation of this horrible system into the PC or console platform. I'm of course referring to the energy system because Gacha had already existed thanks to EA and 2K with their FIFA and other sports games. However, the energy system hasn't yet been used commonly. So those horrible executives that are making those horrible games might be tempted to do the same. Now, whether this game will improve even more in the future or fall from grace has yet to be seen. After all, it's still in the early stage of its life. However, MiHoYo are supposedly willingly listening to the community and promising more things to come. If this game interests you, do try it out. It's free after all. But keep your eyes out on the promises and what they actually delivers. After all, from what I've heard, they already recouped their capital, which means they are more than able to just run away with your money and never came back. To close things out, recent leaks and news of the upcoming version 1.1 indicates a lot of gameplay and quality of life improvement. But whether those things would have a big impact and actually pans out has yet to be seen. And since this is actually my impression review, I've decided that I would judge the game based on its current version 1.0 state and save the next few updates for perhaps a long-term review. Thank you so much for watching. Like the video if you enjoy it, and if you want more content to enjoy, do subscribe and turn notification for even more entertaining videos like this in the future.